Hello everybody, this is Phil again. I hope you're enjoying your great rainy weekend on the East Coast. It's been raining for about 3.5 days now. And there's a lot of flood watch warnings. So be safe when you're traveling, especially in the lower lining areas of the western part of Virginia and basically all over northern Virginia. So we're talking about the border security and arresting parents with children. Alleged parents with real children. They have a way to basically do DNA and see if the people are related to begin with. But a lot of times what occurs is the children are sent ahead of time to perhaps meet with other family, friends, or acquaintances that are already in America. Then when that setup is already arranged, the child stays and he's taken care of. He's basically assisted by the state in one way or another by that original encamped family. So you can see the ploy of the Democrats saying, oh, these children need to be protected. Oh, yeah. Well, of course they do. Okay. But then why do we catch and release after the fact to family members that are already here and most likely will not be legal to begin with? Why? It's basically like the continuation of the anchor baby situation. And if you read the articles of, I'm trying to remember in the Constitution what it's called exactly, where you are a foreign citizen. You are a citizen of some other country, and you come here illegally. Then you have children here. Your sworn oath is basically still to that old country. Therefore, so is the son or daughter that you give birth to here on American soil. It is written like that, succinctly, but it is not stated that is 100% enforceable. So anchor babies, you cannot be a United States citizen if your parent still has allegiance to the original country. People don't understand that. And Donald Trump argued that in the press years ago when he was running for president. Remember when he said his lawyers looked at it and he's pretty much right. But the media said, oh, no, you're born in America. You're automatically an American citizen. That's not true. It's not true at all. And nor does it say in the Constitution you're automatically an American citizen when you're born on American soil. It has to do where the allegiance to the parents are. Okay, if one parent is American and just so happens to get away with marrying a person from another country here in America, then their child is presumed American, born on American soil. That is the only instance. Or, of course, you're a foreigner of a different land. You come to America, become American citizen, and then you have children. They're all American. Trump was right. His lawyers were right. The media and everybody else was wrong. So, speaking about, I don't toot my horn. I don't try to promote myself as a celebrity figure. But, excuse me, as a police officer with extensive experience in laws of arrest, search, and seizure, and what is a legitimate arrest and what is not. First of all, an arrest is basically any time you seize a person. The conditions for that arrest only lies in the person who is seized. So if I'm pulled over by the police officers for speeding, as soon as I acknowledge that they have lights behind me, I know I am stopped when I stop myself because of their actions. If I'm walking down the street and the police want to speak to me and interview me, and I am not free to go, that is technically an arrest because in my mind I know I'm stopped. The value of being under arrest depends only on the person that is stopped, in his or her mind. Not the police officers, not the judge later in trial, that individual. The courts have upheld this for the last 100 years. Okay, so the question is, when a person is seized, is evidence after that admissible? Okay, reverse that too with a lot of detective work. A lot of evidence is seized through lawful means and warrants, search warrants and plain view, and however the arrest comes, search incident to arrest. All these different things bring in evidence before the person is technically feeling he's under arrest. Then there are steps that go by where the person is seized. He is additionally searched, incident to arrest on his person. He is booked, and he is advised of Miranda. He is indeed under arrest. Then that person should know by then he is under arrest, and it is a lawful arrest. But again, detectives seize a lot of evidence first, then they apply for an arrest warrant and go ahead and arrest the person. You can theoretically, in your mind, as a suspect and defendant, feel you are never under arrest. You could be processed for a crime and go to jail, after adjudication, and feel, literally, hey, I'm free because I know I didn't do anything wrong. And yes, they seized me, but I want to get out of this predicament, and I believe my arrest was null and void. So therefore, I think I was never arrested. It's kind of foolish after a while when mounting evidence proves you committed a crime. But the laws of arrest, search, and seizure, the law of arrest when a person is arrested is when that person thinks so. That's just how it is. That's the facts. Not a constable on patrol, not another citizen looking at a person getting hemmed up down the road. No one, except for that person that is being seized. So let's apply that to the border. You have someone crossing the border illegally, not being seen by anyone. A Border Patrol agent goes and says, Mamacita, please stop. Okay, oh, I see you have your little baby. Is that your baby? She says, yes, this is my son or daughter. Okay, she is detained to find out who she is, to identify her, and she is technically still not under arrest even when she is seized. Okay, then to process her as an adult, where she should start figuring out she is under arrest because she violated the laws of the Constitution of the United States, and in essence basically violated the sedition clause, entering into a sovereign country without permission, without the paperwork. And she committed a crime actually by forcing her child to commit a crime also. Okay, she should start to learn, or he should start to learn, that yes, they are now under arrest. Now, search incident to arrest, any family members are going to be separated automatically. That's for the police officer's safety, and that's to basically isolate the individual suspect or defendant and process them. And the baby should be processed also. Maybe perhaps not as a criminal, but there is no way that child should be with that person who's being arrested. Then you add into the safety of the child. How safe is it for a parent to bring their child into an unknown country illegally and endanger them, especially with the police, when they have to enforce the law? And there might be gunplay. They might think you have a weapon on you. They might think you're bringing in drugs. They might think that you're bringing in disease. It's automatic that the parent will be separated for the child. It's not cold-hearted. It's not Nazism. It's not Donald Trump acting mean, like a godfather or a grandfather against the Latino children. It's nothing like that. So why are the Democrats making such a big deal about this? It's a wedge issue. It's a racist wedge issue. Anytime they can use race to split up the people, then those people that they think that Democrats are helping will join with them, and they'll actually become a voting bloc. They'll actually harbor hate and hatred and vitriol and pain and suffering in their mind for something they could have eliminated. Then if you look at the history of America and Mexico, Mexico went through so many different leaders, especially getting rid of the Spanish, 100, 150 years ago? What about Santa Anna, who was a general and still abused the peasants, all in Mexico? Then he invaded what was sovereign territory to the extent of America was laying claim to lots of Texas and lots of Louisiana at the time. And more migrants of Americans were going across the plains to California. It was open and free territory. There was nothing really in paper that said Mexico owned it all. Never. But Santa Anna actually raided and killed many Mexican people. And so, what was it, Colonel Houston or General Houston, whatever his name was, named Houston, Texas after him. If you look at the movie, I forgot who it was, Dennis Quaid that played in it years back. That was closer to accurate than anything else. And the Democrats don't want Latinos to know that history. Santa Anna invaded as far as Louisiana, and Houston said, no, we're going to let him come in more and more, and then we're going to cut his throat. So the Americans won. The Americans won everything. And what did they say to Santa Anna? They said, we don't want to kill you. We don't want to kill any Mexicans. We probably want to do more business in the future, and we want Texas. So what does your life mean to Texas? Is your life worth Texas? We can kill you right now with a bullet. And he signed over Texas and California, all the way to California, what were undefined states at the time. This happened all the time. Look it up in history books. I'm just paraphrasing. I don't know every specific little treaty, every specific little date and occurrence. Please excuse me. But I can tell you this, a lot of Mexicans don't even pay attention to their own history about what happened and how America seized so much property, especially all the way to Northern California. That's just the facts. So now the Democrats, a lot of the Latinos in power are just like a lot of whites in power. They are racist. They want a racial divide. They want people to pick sides. They want to act like they're actually helping someone when they're not. And they want the influx of illegals to keep on coming in so they can vote illegally and keep them in power. How is that fair in America when we're supposed to have legal, righteous, one man, one vote laws? They don't give a shit. They want to stay in power, and they will use everything under their discretion or in their power to stay in power. And that goes for race, that goes for children, that goes for any kind of policy to help corporate America fleece the middle class and receive kickbacks. So they make laws that help corporate America, but not individual rights. It goes on and on and on. But as an expert in the use of force and laws of arrest, search, and seizure, there's always case laws you can look up that update every year in criminal trials all over the United States. And even then, if there's something that goes against the individual defendant and might change some of our old thinking of case law under the Fourth Amendment, they still should be re-challenged again, even if the Supreme Court owns up to that and says the state did something right. But the individual has no fallback plan. He has no right to appeal. Even then, a new Supreme Court that convenes with new Supreme Court leaders, you can always fight and search for another appeal under different grounds, of course, and bring out the same basic facts. There's always a way to argue your case with the Supreme Court, and you have to go through the normal process. Basically, going through your court appeals, going to the Supreme Court itself of your state, and then going all the way to the appellate courts of the federal courts to the Supreme Court. Okay? So there might be some case law that actually contradicts what I say. You are to research law to protect yourself. Ignorance is no excuse. But I can say this. Every time there is an arrest of any individual where that person is seized, they will be separated naturally for the police officers or the constables or the federal agents' protection. It's just a fact. It's just what's going to happen. And if you look at anybody else getting arrested in America, white, black, indifferent, if their little baby is there in the car, for instance, their little baby is there in the car, but you're driving drunk, you're arrested, you are separated from that baby. Okay? You endangered that baby. You endangered your own flesh and blood when you committed a crime. There is no difference between a DUI and a little baby in the car in a little seat that could have been harmed by a parent's bad actions and a parent's bad actions on the border. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Anytime there's an arrest, there is a separation of the family. especially older adults. It might be older children, okay, son or daughter that are grown adults. But the parent was arrested. They would be separated naturally. What's the difference? There is no difference. Okay, we have things in place to help that child. We have social services in every state and every community in the United States to separate that child and help them until the proper family members can come and legally take custody of that baby to be safe, to be fed well, to be housed, okay, to give water to, Basically, I forgot all the 5 things that, to raise a child, you have food, water, a roof over your head, clothing, okay? And I think one of them is something like being sanitary, so the safety of the baby is always taken care of. Well, a judge looks at that, and when a legal, rightful guardian can take care of that child, then that's what occurs. That person comes and takes custody of that child. If not, the state does. And there are many serious professional employees with every government and social services that love children and will take care of them through the best possible system they can. Some are worse than others, don't get me wrong, especially in the big cities. But separating that bad parent from the child is never a wrong thing. So how did the Democrats twist it around? Okay? Don't be fooled. Okay? Wake up, America. Don't be fooled. Everybody gets separated by anybody in their family once they're arrested. Okay? And again, that person still might not feel that they're arrested right there and then. They might be like shocked. Oh, you took my baby, you took my baby, you took my baby. Yeah, well, you did wrong. Sorry. We will make sure the baby is taken care of until you are sent back home, and then you take your baby with you. I'm sorry, but your allegiance is still to that prior country. That's just the facts. If you go the right way, you do the right paperwork, you assimilate, you learn the English language, you learn some of our customs, especially freedom in the Constitution, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are not welcome here if you violate our laws and you just come in. As far as I'm concerned, you're considered the enemy. And how dare you endanger your baby or your children? Thank you, Phil, and I hope you like this video, but this is just my opinion. Look up the law all over your state and all over your country, and you'll realize the Democrats are full of shit. Thank you. Have a great day.